Well, I am so excited and thank you, ladies, you beautiful Black women, for being here with us today to have this really like what I like to call this courageous and critical conversation today regarding just the Black families we serve in our community. And so, as you know, that I do a lot of work with Black families around prevention and preservation when it comes to CPS, thanks to a DHS for that grant. But I wanted to have a conversation just about the things that we experience because we all work with families and work with Black families. And I'm really hoping that at the end of this podcast, that they will really have some tools that they can use, specifically for the families, but also for the social workers and the school teachers and the community members, and the coaches and different people that are listening to them. I hope that they walk away from this podcast just having a better understanding of our families, where they came from, what they're going through, but how to serve them, and work with them better. So welcome to Divine Conversations Podcast, a space where faith meets real life and community stories lead the way. We're here to lift up the voices of BIPOC families navigating housing, healing, mental health, and so much more. Whether you're a parent, a provider, or someone walking alongside our communities, you belong here. Each episode, we share honest conversations, resources, and real stories of resilience. Together, we're creating a space for healing, hope, and divine conversations, where healing begins and stories rise. Thank you all for being here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around. I'm Deanna. Thank you for joining us today on Divine Conversations. And my co-host is Tatiana Kirk. And so we're just going to start out with just going around and just tell us a little bit about yourself. So I'll start with you, Shaquana.
My name is Shaquana McIntyre Carter, and I am a mother of four, a grandmother of two, and now a bonus mom of six more. So there's 10 plus of us. I am a past social worker. Oddly, you're always a social worker once you become a social worker, but I worked at South St. Louis County forever. That's 5 years, but that's still the same. So
All right, thank you.
I'm Michaela Carroll. I am the founder CEO of Aid for Autism. I am a mother of three, a grandma. They don't call me Nana or Grandma. I'm a grandma to two. And I advocate for people that are on the spectrum and for families that need help with their kids that are on the spectrum or developmentally delayed.
I'm Portia P. Gordon, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm also a licensed alcohol and drug counselor. But I too see myself as an advocate. I love working with women, Black women, people who are going through different transitions in their lives. And, all of these different stories that I hear, they always hit home in some regard. And um, I love what I do. I love who I serve, and it's always inspiring to me. It's always very fulfilling to be able to see people who might not otherwise get any degree of support, whether they're in my office or someone else, but breaking generational cycles and trying new things, stepping outside of their comfort zones, and accepting the different gifts that they never thought were for them. Um, And that's what I wanna do with my children too. I'm a mother of 3 with 1 on the way.
Yeah.
And, a lot of what I do is encourage people to consider different insights. You can't teach insight, but you can definitely help people by walking alongside them in their troubles, in their celebrations, and, that's what I plan to do with my family, and I really wanna see, and I believe in other families having the ability to do the same.
I'm Jeba Edmonds, founder and CEO of Jeba Cultural Consulting. I am a former classroom teacher. I taught in the elementary school for over 18 years. I'm a wife and a mom of 2 teenage boys, and I'm a proud Liberian American. And my passion is to provide multicultural educational resources for teachers and their families.
Thank you, ladies, for being here. So we're going to just jump right in with our questions.
Okay. What made you all pursue this work, and how does your identity as a Black woman influence how you serve families?
I'll start hard, okay?
Mhm.
Okay. So, I started the work of a social worker because I originally wanted to be a probation officer. And I was going to school to be a probation officer, and my counselor said, "You get bored too fast. That's not going to work for you. It's going to be a waste of your money. You need something that is going to be useful for the rest of your life." And as a social worker, I could go as far as sex education. I could go into the church. And so that's why I became a social worker, because I just didn't know where I was going to land. And I wanted to make myself marketable for the rest of my life without having to go back to school too many times. Um, what shaped me as a what's the question? The other part?
How does your identity as a Black woman influence how you serve families?
It is everything. My master's degree is simply a piece of paper that tells someone I completed something. To me, it is as equal as my high school diploma. I got done. I did it, right? I did the steps. However, my identity as a Black woman, if I was not a Black woman, I don't think I could serve the way that I serve. I don't think that I could show up the way that I show up, because I'm a Black woman first.
Mhm.
I can't be a social worker first, right? I'm a Black woman first. My experience as a Black woman is what carries me through everything. So I that's my best
That's like your
answer.
biggest
It's
identity.
who I
Yeah.
am. I can't.
Yeah.
I live it. I breathe it. I go to sleep with it. You know what I mean. There's no other way for me to show up.
Right.
No more
Mhm.
than I can be I can only be a mom. I'll never be a dad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Could you ask the question again?
Of course.
Yes.
What what made you pursue this work, and how does your identity as a Black woman influence how you serve families?
Well, what made me go into this work is having a child that was on the spectrum, going through what I went through, the trials and tribulations, not knowing where to go, because they don't give you a this is where you need to go first
Mhm.
manual
Yeah.
for your child. And I think people don't realize is that when you have a child that's on the spectrum, every single child is different. No one's the same, but they all want to put everybody under the same umbrella.
Right.
And that's not right. Going through what I went through with my son, Logan, through the years and advocating, working in the public schools for over 14 years and seeing what I saw and how they treated the children. Some were treated normal, but some they just put in a classroom and just left them like they were just color. And I'm like, these kids know way more than that.
Yeah.
More capable.
More
Yes,
capable.
most
Yes.
definitely more
Yeah.
capable. And Logan was more capable. So me as a Black woman, put my mama hat on, and I can see that the kids, just like any other kids, they would play like they were so autistic. They did not know what right from wrong. But when I went in there and I'm like, no, stop. They straighten up. They would do what I asked them to do.
Yeah.
They just needed somebody to encourage and believe in them. So that's what made it passionate for me to strive for a better world for all these kids, even if I'm a man alone, just walking through and showing it on my shoulders. But I advocate for all kids, not just mine. So that what makes it passionate for me. And being a woman of color, because representative, matters.
Yeah.
And when I was in the school system, Jubba knows me, one of two Black women in our whole schools.
I was number 2.
Yes. They would look at us first. All our Black and
Right.
brown students,
Yes.
they would come to us first and they say represent matters. They felt more comfortable being around us because we understood their plight and their fight.
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
You want me to answer it too?
Either one.
Okay. What gave me the passion to be an educator. I grew up with educators. My grandfather on my mother's side said the first things in our pillars of life was God, family, and education. And my mother was a classroom first grade teacher for over 30 years. So growing up in her classroom and watching her teach made that passion and spark for me to teach my own students. And again, my mother used to always say when I finally got my first teacher job teaching first grade, I was like, okay, I'm the only Black teacher in the district. And my mom said, they need to see your face. All of the kids need to see that you are supposed to be in this position to teach them how to read, to dispel those stereotypes. So that's been really inherent in me to be proud of my heritage. So being a Black woman in this space was, there's this quote that says, you are born African before you are anything else. And that was something that I take with my students, and of course has been a passion to share and spread that knowledge and that education with as many people that I know. So of course, the more you know, the more you grow. So that's always been one of the catalysts of my career, and I'm proud of.
I think for me, what influenced me getting to my career as a therapist, it's interesting because I hear other people talk about like this was always meant for me, and honestly, I think being a therapist fell into my lap, but it was always destined. I was a part of this program that required I apply for graduate school, and I just happened to get into this one. I was waitlisted. I was the baby of the program. And I got in and I was just like, this fits. Like, this is a shoe that fits. It just feels natural. But I also had experience working in group homes and serving those who are incarcerated, who are doing maybe they're in like a sober house or a halfway home. So it was all very aligned, but I didn't see the connections early on. They just all kind of fell into place. And then I think once I graduated, it started to become more of like an extension of my identity of being an advocate. It just felt natural. Similar to what you were saying, Shaquana, it's just like a piece of paper. And this is something I say to just in general. It's like no one cares about any of our credentials. Like, what is it that we can do to actually facilitate change
Right.
or to serve people in ways that they find helpful? And I think I'm passionate about that because representation matters, as we're talking about.
Yes.
People need to see us. They need to understand. It's important that we all understand that support and help and mental wellness isn't just for one group of people, and that healing is possible for everyone. And it's important to have that representation piece because it's like, I don't need to code switch. I don't need to conceal the issues and the problems that I have or the things that I'm going through, because I know that, you may not necessarily be able to relate, but at least you've heard it before, or you can understand it. I don't need to break it down for you. So I think just having, various clients that I was like, wow, this seems to be really effective. It just kind of reinforces what you're doing, and that you're in the right place. And then starting my practice, of course, it's like, I think I might be able to do this, not necessarily better, but in a way that is more authentic to me and the goals that I have and the people that I want to serve. And just creating a team that also is reflective of the different identities and things that I find important and that they also find important. So I think that's just a passion that continues to be fueled. It's reinforced every time I'm seeing clients or hearing from people like, oh, this is really helpful. It's like, okay, just that confirmation bias. Like, I should keep doing this.
Yes, totally.
That's really good. At the end of the day, I forgot the whole quote, but end of it is like, it's about how you make people feel. So like, it doesn't matter what you say or something, it's how you make them feel. And that's what I hear from all of y'all. This is something about just showing up in the room, being who you are, being authentic. And it's about the way you make the people feel that you have been called to serve in your different industries. So
Yes.
that's really good. What's one thing that you've learned from a parent and parenting that changed the way you work? Was it something that you've learned from a parent or just from being a parent that have changed the way you do your work?
I'm going to say admitting my mistakes, I have learned as a parent, is very powerful.
Yeah.
Even in showing your children, whether they're special needs or not, that, mom was wrong. And it's okay that you make mistakes as long as you learn from them. That was my biggest thing when I tell my kids. As long as you're learning something, it's okay to make mistakes. And that as I get older, I apologize to them. I was like, dang, my bad. And they were like, you still make mistakes? I said, honey, you'll be making mistakes your whole life because no one's perfect except the Lord.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We're still learning and we're growing. And I tell my autistic son that as well, because he look at me when he makes a mistake, his eyes get all big and he gets nervous. And I'm like, you know what? That happens. So what we're not going to do, though, is do it again, right? Because I tell people this story. Logan is the sweetest little thing. I always call him my little Forrest because he will give you everything in his pocket, you know. But there are times, just like anybody else, where they get their naughty streak. So he painted my bathroom with toothpaste. And I went in and I looked.
He's an artist.
He is. And the first thing out of his mouth was, I'm sorry. I said, see, that right there told me you knew what you were doing. I said, so here's a bucket. Here's some water.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just looked at me like, you're not going to help? Nope.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't make the mess. And he was just crying because
Yeah.
he is so much like his mother that we reflect and we will punish ourselves more than anybody else. We're more harder on ourselves than anyone else. So he was crying and he was cleaning up the mess. And then I had a conversation with him. Mommy's not mad. Mama just wish you didn't do it. So we had a conversation, but I had to let him do it. And that was hard because I wanted to go in there, help him and do it for him. But I was like, no, you knew what you was doing, son. You gotta go clean. But my bathroom smelled minty fresh for a long time, y'all. You know, but he didn't do it again. But then he knew, and I always lead with love. You know, mama loves you. Now let's not do that again.
Yeah.
So
It's like that quote, connection before correction.
exactly.
Oh, yes. That's so true.
I think we learn a lot of different lessons, like being parents too, like continuous lessons. It's like I had enough lessons for today. And I think what comes to mind for me, I'm thinking about my almost 5-year-old son who, he is almost 5. So he behaves as such. And I think one thing I learn about parenting is I look inward and I lead with a lot of just honoring his feelings and that they're valid and that the things that he finds important are important, even though they may be insignificant to me. Or there's something that I'm doing that I might deem more important or timely or, that he can wait. So I think I just have learned to prioritize things that, and just in general, like prioritizing things that young people find important, because that's how I think we build trust also. And they also, I think, are able to be a little bit more resilient too, because they know that we're always going to be alongside them. And as a result, they're more confident, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like with that parenting piece, what I learned is the importance of showing up. If it's a sporting event, my boys played hockey for many years, and you're sitting in the rain in the middle of Wisconsin watching a baseball, but I'm there, and you always see your child looking like, are you there? Are you paying attention? So just as a parent, just seeing with my mom growing up, she was at all of our dance recitals, all of our dance competitions, and you're sitting there in the stands, on stage, and you're looking for your parent. It means a lot, So like you said, Portia, like what might be not as significant for your perspective, it's so significant for your child at that time. So that has been one of my lessons, is like, show up, even if you're exhausted, you're tired, you're at that band concert, you're at that, you're at the grocery store they're working at, you're showing up, like, hey, don't drop the eggs, I'm here. So yeah, things like that is I think will resonate with them to continue for the next generation coming.
I would have to say exposure. I don't think that as a child I was exposed to enough of the right things. but I also wasn't exposed enough to the bad things that was hidden in front of me. So I could see, and eventually as I grew, I knew what was happening. Um, so the flip side of that was I know I needed to get my kids more exposure to new things, which meant that I needed to, as an adult, then become exposed.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but your question asks, what has a parent, one of my clients taught me, and it was exposure. I recognize that a lot of our families that we're serving, they're experiencing the traumas that they're experiencing because of exposure. They're exposing themselves to either things that are familiar that they should unlearn,
Yes.
or they're exposing themselves to something new in the name of culture, therefore bleeding all over themselves, community, family, friends, and children. So I would say exposure would be the thing that I have learned, that you can raise something really great, or you can cause real damage with simple exposure.
Yeah.
That's very
I
powerful.
like that because what I see in the special needs community is parents like to say, well, my child is special. And I have to tell them every child is special,
Yes.
but your child still need to learn right from wrong.
Mhm.
And then I have to hit them with this hard news is that the police, when they stop your child and they're doing wrong, they don't care that your child is quote unquote special. They're just looking at your child did wrong.
Right.
So let's teach them right from wrong now so they're not ended up in jail, not understanding because you state they were special, so you didn't want to teach them right from wrong. Because they can understand, you just have to teach them a little differently.
Yeah.
I like where you're going with that too, similar to your son and the toothpaste.
Yes.
Because I've said to a lot of my family members, as a big sister and auntie, it's like give your children the gift of believing in them and believing in their capacity and their abilities to do fill in the blank. Because if we're snowplow parents, what are we really protecting them from? Because there's a world out there that won't be snowplow. There will be people that don't
Exactly.
consider anything. So give them the gift of encouraging them to do this. They can wash windows. They can take out the trash. They can rearrange things in the refrigerator. They can take a break, and it's hard, right? Like it's hard. Our children are an extension of ourselves, our own identities. And it can be really difficult for us to set that aside, with them in mind. But I think some of the most effective parenting that like, unlearning and breaking cycles is saying, oh, this is really tough for me, but this is what's in my child's best interest in the long run.
Yes.
Like it breaks my heart to see you so sad that I took away your dinosaur. But you are at an age where you're learning cause and effect. And I can't take that learning opportunity away from you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Those were all really great. Thank you guys. I'm taking notes over here for when I'm ready. Michaela, these next couple questions are for you. What are some early signs of autism or other developmental differences that parents should pay attention to?
What I tell parents first is you know your children. You know how your child are. If you've been around kids and you have other kids, you see where their developmental started and follow your gut. If you feel that something's just not quite right, go and talk to your doctors about it. Do your research. Look at some of the signs of what it means for people to be developmental delayed. Talk to somebody. Google. Google is your best friend, y'all.
Don't be afraid.
Yes. Phone a friend. Seriously, phone a friend. Be like, hey, can you come? Do you see what they doing? Oh, he walking on his tiptoes. Is that a sign? And because let me tell you, because Logan walked on his tiptoes and before he was diagnosed, and I'm like, that ain't right. And the biggest challenge is, and I was telling Shaquan about this earlier, is when you have your partner and you are discussing it with your partner and they're brushing you off, stating, Well, I didn't talk till late. Oh, it'll get better. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have that backup support, but you're like, as your mama instinct, that ain't right. You know what? I'm still gonna go get my baby checked out. Because sometimes you have to do it anyway, even when your gut's telling and there's people all around you telling you it's fine, it's okay. What's the harm?
Follow your gut.
Yeah,
Sure.
follow your instinct
Your
and your
intuition.
gut
Would
and
you
just
say
go
that-
for it.
Would you say that people are in denial? They're afraid or maybe embarrassed at what could come?
I would say that's the stigma of the other families. Because let's be real, in our society, Black society, we hush hush about things. Let's keep it secret. Let's keep it in the family. But a lot of families, no, they're not embarrassed. They truly seeking help.
Right.
What can I do? And I'm always, honey, go to this, go to this. But always check with your doctor, because I'm not a doctor. Go check with your doctor
Right.
first. But I'm going to give you suggestions on where you should go
Right.
to get that diagnosis.
So Black families are the ones that are typically struggling to
The most.
to accept that
Yeah.
there could be even.
I would say the elders.
Mhm.
Yes, the elders, the grandparents,
Right.
the most.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Ain't nothing wrong with
necessary.
him.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with him.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he just got a little touch of something.
Right.
You just need a whooping.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want them to get labeled,
Right.
you know, because we're already labeled enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
You know, that leads into the next question for you, Michaela, and is how do cultural norms or stigma impact how families talk about disabilities or special needs?
Yep. Same thing.
Yeah.
Churches, you know, everything's quiet.
Mhm.
So my experience is I can look back on my nephew, right, who's in his late 20s. And it was always something's going on with that. And I remember my sister going to my mom about it. My mom was like, no, he doesn't need to go get seen. I didn't understand it at the time because I think I was like 11 or 12, what they were arguing about. But my mom refused to have him go and get checked out.
Mhm.
In the long run, he was on special needs.
Right.
He didn't get diagnosed till he was older.
Mhm.
And we talk about it because that's my baby. He's like my firstborn. You know, I talked to my sister's belly when she was pregnant. That's my heart. And he was like, you know, when the doctor gave me that diagnosis, Auntie, that was like, that's why everything was so hard for me.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
why I couldn't do this. He's like, you don't understand how much that helped me. Because he's like, I had all these noises coming at me. And he was like, I didn't understand. He was like, I thought something seriously was wrong with me. But the secretiveness of it in our culture, being ashamed.
Yeah, it's like, isn't there an element of shame?
Yes, it's
in
being
all of that?
ashamed.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be.
Mm-mm.
Let's embrace it. It's
Yes.
okay to be different.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I always say with the backyardigans, uniqua. I'm a uniqua because I am unique. Because
Yes.
everyone is different in their own way, and that's okay. Embrace it. I always say Logan, every time I tell people Logan's autistic, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, what for?
Right.
Exactly.
I said, Logan is doing so good. He has a job. He has a job coach. He has his own place that he lives in with his roommates. I said, Logan is thriving and in charge.
That
It might
part.
take him longer to get to stuff,
Sure.
but he knows.
He's getting there.
He's getting there. I said, and he is my easiest child. I said, my normies are the ones that give me hell. But he is my easiest child.
Yeah.
Because all I got to do is, Logan, can you do this? Okay.
Right.
But not every child is the same
Absolutely.
on the
Right.
spectrum.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, there's people that, you know, the hand flapping is one of the symptoms, right? But people always consider that is the main signs. No, there are some genius people on the spectrum,
Mhm.
Yes.
and they're bored.
Like most of them are, they say. Right?
Yes,
Like,
they are bored at school, but you got them in these little classrooms alone,
right.
coloring or tying shoes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Robbing them.
limiting them, and that's
Limiting,
frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is frustrating. And so parents need to learn how to advocate for their babies because you know your kids.
You know, one thing that comes to mind as you're talking about like the screening and whatnot is that, to be fair, it's important to acknowledge how there's been so much harm caused by like the medical system.
Yeah.
So historically speaking, we haven't trusted their ability to treat us equally. So it's there's no surprise that white people might feel more comfortable going in for screening because they know that when they go in that they are being protected and that they're able to get the help that they need. Unlike a Black family where it's like, okay, well, I am being stigmatized. And what is the impact of me going in for a screening mean? Is this going to stay on my record? How is it going to impact my record? My medical record. So I think there is a very fair and understandable mistrust that exists over generations. And I think it does persist today, and we should still be vigilant and cautious and, just be mindful. Like, it shouldn't be at the expense of making sure that our children's needs are being met. Because there's so many, like you said, your nephew was diagnosed late. But what we hear, at least from what I heard, you're the expert, but people feel validated, like that sigh of relief. Like, this answers all my questions because I didn't have any understanding of why I was, the noises or whatever.
How I was feeling.
Right. But now this was an explanation. Now I have something to go off of versus just kind of feeling lost out there.
Yes.
And we always think that it's worse than what it actually is.
Yeah.
And so it's just that whole thing about information is powerful.
Yeah. And take somebody with you to advocate.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah.
I'm always telling the staff to just call me. I'll go with you with a client. Call me. I will go and talk to you and be with you. Have a friend. I also always keep saying, phone a friend. Have family members that you trust go with you, because I have my friends sometimes go with me, and I'm like, ask questions that I can't think of at the moment. Because if I get something that I'm like, I'm stuck, and all I'm hearing is that one word over and over again, I need you to be my backup.
Yes.
That
is
so having someone with you helps so much.
Yeah.
Big time.
Having to say, listen, help me listen to what they not saying.
Exactly.
If I forgot something, if I forgot to ask something, step in.
And it's okay to do another appointment. I think people forget that. You can go back and ask as many questions as you want. It's not a one-time thing.
Or probably someone else even like a second opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah. I also think too, I'm assuming parents are probably thinking they did something wrong.
Oh, yes, I did that. I think I cried for months because I said, what did I do wrong? Because I had a tough pregnancy. So you blame yourself. You do. But I always tell people I had to put on my big girl panties because I need to first then think of, okay, how can I help my baby? Okay, let's get out of this. It's all about my baby. How can I help him?
No self-pity.
What's the next thing? I always say, fix your crown, queen. It's time to figure out how you can help your child. And so first thing I did was ask the doctor, okay, what's the next step? They were like, what do you mean? What do I need to do next?
Exactly.
You gave me this diagnosis, which is, it's shocking, but okay, we're going to move on. Because I was determined. I was like, Logan's going to have a great life.
That's right.
It's going to be a little different, but he's going to have a great life. What's the next step? What's all the research?
And the powerful thing was to see her child graduate and she hand her son his diploma.
Yes, I did.
She did.
That made my day. And
Beautiful
the biggest smile
moment.
on his face.
Yeah, beautiful.
That he was so
moment.
proud of himself, and I'm just crying.
Yeah. That
So,
that was a beautiful
that was
moment.
powerful for me.
Yes.
My biggest takeaway with what you just said is that you have this. It shows the importance of advocating for your children.
Yes.
And for us, and for others because everybody don't have you as a mama.
No.
And so I think it's important for other people to hear that it's important to step in and come along beside other children who don't have that and advocate for them.
Yes.
So, and adults.
Yes, because the public school hated to see me come.
And that's what you
Because I
want.
advocated for everybody.
Oh, yes.
It's important to understand that advocacy, because if we go in advocating based on what we want to hear, we fail our children.
Yes, so true.
Because we want to be right? We want our kids to be okay. And so if we're getting in the way, by not wanting to hear and closing our ears, like our elders, like some of our elders, like our stubborn folks, we get in our way when we start advocating the wrong way.
Right. Like if they do actually need an IEP,
yes,
we should consider it.
It's just listen here,
Right.
Consider it and know that only thing that you're advocating for is tools,
Yeah.
not a
Yes.
label.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need the
Yes.
tools to
Mhm.
do what needs to be done so that your child can be great no matter what.
Yes.
You know, one of the things I can say, well, they just want to give my kid an IEP or this and that so they can get extra money. But the fact is that if your child has a real issue, they need extra money to help them.
Because that parent needs to be
Yes.
paid.
At the end of the day,
Yes.
let's keep
Oh,
the main
yes.
thing the main thing. Let's get your child some help so they can be
Mhm.
successful.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
It's either
Yeah.
get them extra money in school or they going to get extra money in prison.
Yeah.
Because the
You decide.
reality
That
is
part.
That piece.
they're building beds
Third grade.
third
Third
grade.
grade from those test scores.
They're
Yeah.
saying third grade is a prison to pipeline. That is a real thing that our families need to understand. While you are bucking the system when you should be advocating for your child, granted, you may be very right about this, that, and the third. You
Mhm.
could be right, but without it, where will your child go? And where will
Mhm.
your child be if you are not here to take care of them
Yes.
while making excuses for them?
Yeah.
Especially among households who, whether they just don't have the tools themselves
Mhm.
to support their children, helping them with homework or whatnot, or they don't have the capacity, or their education is limited too.
Yeah.
It's like, unless you're doing those things,
Mhm.
then you probably should consider.
Exposure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And ask for help.
Ask for help.
Because sometimes when you're just surviving,
Mm-hmm.
when you're just trying to figure out where they're going to sleep tonight, when you're going to figure out how, if this person comes home drunk and hit me, how can I keep my kids safe? What are we going to eat tomorrow? You might not have time to go and advocate, but I think that's when it's okay to ask for help. To find out who in that school, who in your community can go advocate for you. Because right now you just don't have the capacity. And it could just be in a season. Like, I just need somebody to help me in this season because I'm going to do this part, but I need you to help me here. And I think it's okay to ask for help and don't be ashamed about it.
Yes.
And I think that's huge.
Yes.
We got to ask for help. We all need help,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with it. And so do it for your child. We have to
Yes.
set our pride aside and we have to ask for help
Yes.
because we don't know what we don't know.
Yes.
And I always ask that when I leave those meetings. Like, is there anything that I should have asked that I didn't ask?
Right.
Oh,
Is there a
yes.
resource that's available to me that you haven't told me about?
Yes.
'Cause
Oh,
you
yes.
Ask them.
Yes.
Because you forgot.
Ask them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah. So the next few questions will be for you, Portia, focused around mental health. How can parents tell the difference between behavior challenges and deeper mental health needs?
I don't know. Behavior challenges and deeper mental health needs. I think so many mental health needs are varied. There's a spectrum. And I guess what comes to mind right away is how frequent are the behaviors? Are they in certain settings? Is there a stimuli that is activating the behavior? Or is this, it kind of actually reminds me of like ADHD screening.
Mhm.
I don't screen for ADHD, but I know that a lot of times that ADHD screeners or psychologists will give, someone at home, someone at school, someone at work, different settings to assess if the symptoms are the same across like environments. And if they are, it's like, oh, okay, there's an indication here that maybe further screening or testing should be done. I think the same is true for like further mental health needs, like the same concept. If someone's exhibiting these symptoms, whether it be in certain areas or environments or with certain people, I think it's worthwhile to look into. But even like mental health behaviors, I think those are important to pay attention to as well. Transitions for children can be really difficult. Moving, even, their adult changing jobs. Just any change can be the biggest hurdle for children to adjust to. A new family member in the house, someone leaving. Children really thrive on stability and their ability to know what's coming next. That's why we talk about structure being so important to young people. And I think we all theoretically thrive when there's structure because we know what to expect. We know what's expected of us. And then I think some of those deeper mental health needs too, I think this is where you might call on someone to if you have some concerns, ask them, like, hey, have you noticed this too? Like, have you seen this too? Is it just me? Am I more sensitive to this behavior that I'm seeing with my child or another child? Is there something going on? Because there are a lot of single parents or caregivers who maybe don't have the tools or resources. They are just trying to survive.
Right.
So they don't even have the capacity to even ask themselves these questions of like if something is going on. But I think today is especially difficult because so many young people are isolated and they are just within themselves. They're not talking about things. They don't have the same social groups and community that I think a lot of us did when we were growing up because they really aren't leaving their homes. They aren't going to different social events anymore. They're not really going to the movies or to the mall or to a dance or to a community function. So I think as a result, a lot of what they experience is an isolation, and I think it just takes an attentive adult to ask some of these questions and to take interest into things that they find important. Something that I read the other day, it was this mom figured out a way to connect with her teenage son, and she works out with him. They work out together. I've seen parents and adults like, let's play some video games. Wait, you playing Fortnite? Okay, teach me about, teach me what's going on. I'll get a controller too, a headset too. But I think a lot of mental health needs, some of them aren't as obvious and some of them are below the surface. And I think if I'm going to generalize, I think a lot of young people are just experiencing a lot of distress these days. Whether or not it's diagnosable, I don't know. But I think a lot of young people are just going through it. And just people in general. I think we just all are lacking that social connection. And we're feeling more lonely too. Our human nature, mother nature instincts haven't changed. Like those elements of what we need haven't changed. Our environment has changed. And now we're really struggling to adapt to it. Technology and just connecting through social media. It can be very lonesome, and I think that we feel that. So when we're around other people, it's like so energizing because it's so uncommon. It's not like our regular experience.
Or it can be opposite effects, because I know one of my grandsons now, he has anxiety around
That
people.
is so true. Social
And so now he
anxiety.
doesn't, because he's used to, not being just social media. So when you get just around, he's like, that gives me anxiety, and then I don't want to do it.
That's a good point, because it's like, if you're an extrovert, let's say before the pandemic, it's like, okay, well, now I'm kind of more of an introvert. It's like, that's because I've been conditioned over all these years to be alone because I had to survive. Now I'm like trying to figure out how to unlearn some of these things. But social anxiety, people just not wanting to leave. We see the impacts of dating and relationships. People aren't going out. There's a new study that was done that a lot of young men have never asked a girl out in person before. So these skills, just these social or interpersonal communication skills are just lacking.
So, like, with that being an example, one of the things I did is I made my grandson come with me to Juneteenth, and then dropped him off at another one.
Nice.
And I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not.
Push them in the pool.
Yeah, I just pushed him in. I mean, I came along beside him the first time. I was with him. We were together.
Yes.
He was with me. We were at Juneteenth together. The next time I dropped him and his brother off.
Yeah.
And then I, just go down there for an hour and pick him up. And you just don't, because I don't want to say that's not real.
Yeah.
But I also think that in life you have to learn how to be around people.
Yeah.
And you
I don't know.
modeled before, so you did it with him. So it wasn't like you just pushed him
Right.
in without him there.
Yeah.
But you modeled before, and he was with his brother.
Yeah.
I think some of these
Some
things
know.
are time sensitive though.
Mm-hmm.
So like for young people, it's like immediately like we need a change. We saw
Yes.
the long-term impacts of COVID, the pandemic, and how, socially and then like academically and, all these things were impacted. There's so many delays and people are behind and people aren't connected.
Yeah.
And I think it's like action today, action now. Like we don't have 3 years to slowly, gradually take them to these functions.
Yeah.
Do
So
it.
I think it's in their best interest long term to be pushed outside their comfort zone. Like literally, like you need to get out of the car, you need to go inside this building
Yeah.
and like meet people in real life and just build those skills. And they may not have them too. And that's the thing. It's like you might be encouraging young people to do this in your life, but they're still around other people who maybe aren't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just
I know that's hard because he came in even about a pizza. He asked us to, I don't like talking to people. Can you order the pizza? And my husband did it, and later I thought we should have made him do it. We're right here if you need me, but we just did it because we wanted to get back to our show. Let's just keep it real,
Oh yeah.
But I thought we should have made him did it. But one of the things he did say is, "I've always been like this," and I said, "No, you have not." I said, "You used to love being around people. You used to be at church. You would be on the stage." I was like, "You have not always been like this."
Yeah.
I said, "I acknowledge that you're saying this. You know your truth. I'm not going to say." I said, "But I can confirm for you that you have not always been like this."
Yeah.
And like this too, it can also be relative. Like you felt this way today.
Yeah.
Let's just like call it for what it is. That's not maybe how you always feel. But I think that is a really good example of like not wanting to be on the phone. It's like, well, I don't want to open my mail. And you just some of that avoidance piece of interacting with other people that can be really stifling in every other area of our lives.
Yeah. And he texts all day. He just don't want to talk.
Yeah.
I
This
thought
is exhausting.
it's an
That's
environmental.
this generation
Yeah.
kind of thing. What I've noticed is with my daughter is her friends will look at her and say, "Can you call? Can you make that appointment?" She's like, "Y'all can do that too." They were like, "No."
Mm.
And she is very much an introvert, but she'll do it because they have so much anxiety
Yeah.
to do it. But what I love is that they're seeking help.
Yeah.
They're in
Seeking
therapy
help. Yeah.
to try and get past that. And I love that they encourage each other. And actually that's helping her be more of an extrovert because they're asking her.
Oh,
To
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, so it's getting her out of her bubble.
Yeah.
Because she at times would ask me, and I'm like, "No, baby, you got this. You can do it." I said, "But you just did it for your friends." She was like, "That's different." I said, "Well, I can't right now, so I'll play like I really I'm having and I would struggle doing it and show her I'm struggling doing it." She was like, "Just give it here." I was like, "Thank you, baby. Thank you."
I've seen that though. Like I've heard, we'll have our clients if they need to reschedule or book an appointment, their parents will have them call to do that. They're like, "This is your appointment. This is with your therapist. This is your you have to miss it, not me. So you need to call." I'm like,
Yep.
kudos to
Yes.
you for
Yes.
having them do
Skills.
that.
Yes.
And so, but just to wrap up this question, how do a parent know? Like, because back in the day it was like that child is just bad. That child is just bad. It has just acting out. How do you know when it's that or when you really should maybe seek some help? Like, is it when? And one of the things I heard you say is that when there's been changes,
Yeah.
like major changes,
Yeah.
or when they are acting out of their character,
Right.
those are maybe signs where you might want to talk to somebody.
Maybe a little bit more. Those are maybe a little bit more obvious.
Okay.
I think some of the less obvious ones are just nothing that you're doing seems to work, even like that connecting in a loving way doesn't seem to be effective. Because I think, and it's affection doesn't solve all the problems, but I just always envision, like when I think of that question of how does a parent know that their child needs more support, I just think about someone who's just like fighting the world and their parent, their mom is saying, "Just come here. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to love you." And it's still not enough. This is like what I envision. Then I'm like, I think they just need some more support. When their behavior just doesn't seem to be making sense with the love that you're offering them, the environment that they're in, right? Because if someone's having a hard time, it's like, well, I can attribute some of that. Well, look at your grades. Someone's having a hard time. Well, look, you've been grounded the last 3 weeks. Sometimes if we're able to attribute behavior, then I think it's a little bit more difficult to say you need more support. But when we aren't able to attribute behaviors and needs to something, I think that's when we can start to understand a little bit they might need more help because I'm just confused about what's going on here. Or maybe they're shutting down, or maybe they're acting erratically. And I've seen this too with like family members where it's like, I can't put my finger on it, but something is going on with them. And I think it's okay to say I can't put my finger on it, right? Like I'm not going around diagnosing everybody or saying everyone has an issue because I don't know what it is. But I think as a parent, your ultimate responsibility is to understand what's going on with them.
Yes.
So I think that's where, asking for help and saying, hey, I think you deserve someone else besides me to talk to can be really helpful.
Good. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
What are some barriers, or what barriers do Black families face when it comes to youth mental health, and how can they push through that?
I think it's similar to what you were saying, Michaela. Just stigma. I think our culture, Black culture, unfortunately will limit. I think Black culture sometimes can be the barrier to young people getting support. Because again, thinking about the elders and some of those belief systems of, you're crazy, right? Like, what is depression? What is anxiety? So I think some of those cultural beliefs can be barriers, and that people are afraid also, because in some ways they've been encouraged or discouraged to seek help because it is scary. Someone told me that this thing that I'm going through is, it means I'm crazy, or that like a devil is inside of me. So I think it can perpetuate across generations, and then as a result, it's just like, well, I'm just gonna deal with it. And I think sometimes too, like we can wear that, or generations before us have worn that as a badge of honor, not seeking help.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we're still unlearning.
Yes.
Yep. Because we have that thing of what happens here stays here. We don't tell people our business, and also we pray.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pray it
Jesus
away.
gonna help you. You know,
Jesus alone.
right?
Yes.
Right.
That's the
It's-
hiccup.
That's the problem.
That's
right
the
there.
hiccup, because Jesus sent his help.
Exactly.
Yes.
He's trained these professionals.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Miss Jabba,
Yes.
what can parents do if they feel like the school system is failing them, failing their child?
Oh, yes. The biggest thing they can do is find a parent advocate that is within the schools and meet with them. Document everything. It's always good to have evidence. If you're feeling this way, maybe it's communication from the teacher that, that didn't convey the way you thought. And also just have those meetings, make those meetings with the school principal, make the meetings with the teacher. And again, preemptively email or call them to say, I'm setting up this meeting because X, Y, and Z. And I will be there with a parent advocate or a member of my family to catch things you might not have picked up. Just like a, doctor's appointment, you always want an extra person in the room that will advocate for you. But again, just know by getting the pulse of other families that that are in the same school setting with your child, just to kind of see if they're also experiencing those types of things, to also validate or help you kind of navigate what is happening. But always document everything. Keep everything. That is really important, and make copies so that you have some backing for you of your concerns, especially communications to the teacher. I called it this date. We had a conversation about this subject. Keep all of that in a file. Yeah.
If you went all the way through the building, you talk to the teacher, you talk to the counselor, you talk to special ed teacher, you talk to the principal, then what? And you still feel like this school is failing you. What
Go
can
to
you
the
do?
superintendent.
Superintendent. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yes, go to the superintendent of schools.
And if you feel like the superintendent's not doing it, go to the board.
Go to the school board as well. Yes.
That's good.
You have power to advocate for your child.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like as parents, they feel like intimidated, like, oh, I went to the building and this didn't work. Maybe past trauma of being in school themselves. But again, just, tightening up and saying, this is for my kid. I need to help support my child. If the building isn't satisfactory, then I need to go to the school board or the superintendent to have a solution in place.
That's
And
good.
If that solution doesn't work, because we
Yes.
do have some that solution doesn't work,
Yes.
maybe that school is not for your child.
Yes.
Mhm.
That
It's
too.
okay to
Mhm.
go somewhere
Yeah.
else.
It's okay to go somewhere else.
Yes, because you need to do what's best for your child. Don't put them back into a trauma
Yes.
that's just going to escalate even more.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do families protect their child's identity and confidence in a predominantly white school system?
I know this from experience.
Mm.
Being the only Black African
Yes.
in my class in high school. Yes, what my parents did for me was to always instill my culture and my identity first and foremost. It was kind of like, okay, you're Liberian at home and you're also Liberian at school. And so those values have always connected with me. And as a parent with two biracial children who are Liberian and Scandinavian heritage, always showing up, being there to say, yeah, I'm the mom. My husband's sitting right next to me at parent-teacher conference, just to show that teacher that, if you see a woman that looks like me, I'm still invested in my child and their learning. And I always used to be annoyed with my parents. So they always come to my high school and elementary, middle school conferences. And I'm like, I'm not a bad kid, quote unquote. You don't have to go. And my parents are like, no, they need to see us in this building, advocating for you. And I'm doing that for my kids. And I purposely moved and transferred buildings to be in the same building as my children in elementary school. So they saw me at the field trip. They saw me at the concerts. They saw me in the hallways. Oh, yes. Because again, they needed to see that we exist. And also they need to see that we also are invested in our children. And that also has your own child sit a little taller because mom's down the hall if she needs me, or mom and dad are here, or an elder is coming to the building to read to our class. That is something important. And teachers love that too, because wow, this family is invested in their child's culture and how they're being seen. And the students, I feel, learn a lot more that are not of that identity to go, wow, we know your mom, we know your dad, we know them in the school community is also very important.
And I bet it makes a difference in how your child is treated when they know you're going to show up.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And those kids see me.
Yeah.
And they know
still
me.
talk about me to this day.
Yes, yes, same.
But
Yeah.
I think what they love is that they always state to me now, and they're older now, the kids, her friends. They said, you are the same now that you were back then. I said, because one thing I'm not going to do is change.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I show up as myself.
Yes.
And my daughter be like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Shaquana, what are some safe ways that families can ask for help without fear of being judged or investigated?
There's no way.
So what do you do when you need help?
You go get help, but you plan and prepare
To be judged and
to
investigated.
be judged and investigated. Yes, because the reality is, where there is smoke, the belief is there is fire. So they are documenting. You should document. The judging is going to happen because that's who we are as a people. We're still only dealing with other broken people. We're looking for help from people who are struggling themselves. They just happen to have a title. So go in with the expectation that they're going to judge you. Go in with the expectation that they're going to be asking questions, and that starts an investigation, even if it never becomes a formal investigation, because now they need to have an understanding. They have to have a finger on the pulse of what's truly going on. And they don't expect that you're coming with the full story. So what the pieces you leave out, they are going to create. So find a balance in being real and being raw, and go and get the help you need.
And so you're saying do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
But I also think that there are some things that people could do, and tell me if you agree with this. Like if you know you need help with parenting, Find a parenting class.
Go find a parenting class.
If you know,
you know
you're
what? I
dealing
wouldn't
with,
even do. You know what? Sorry, I wouldn't even start with parenting classes. Don't start with self. Start with understanding your child. Start with a child development class.
child development class, right?
Yeah.
And so, but if it's domestic violence, see if you can
Mhm.
find a domestic violence group.
Mm-hmm.
If you're dealing with alcohol, like maybe you should go to AA.
Mm-hmm.
Call 211. Look up other nonprofits in the community, people that's doing the work. Google, ask people.
Seek outside your community.
Seek outside. Maybe not someone. Maybe seek a mentor, somebody who's where you want to be in that era, in parenting, in their sobriety. You know what I mean? Overcomers who they were maybe in a bad relationship and got out.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we have so much shame, but we have to push past that shame to get help.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that those are also some things you can do. Like, I don't think you have to just feel like just defeated.
You definitely
think
don't want to feel defeated, and you
Right.
definitely don't want to feel helpless. You want to go and get the help. You want to be encouraged. And on top of that, you want to take accountability.
Yes.
What are you doing in your life as a parent that you can what can you tweak? Right? The book Atomic Habits is such a great book because it talks about we as a people want to make big changes real fast so that we can be great because we already feel like we're behind in the game, right? But Atomic Habits teaches us it is not about the big leaps. It is about the very, 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 very tiny atomic habits that we do every day. If you know that for the last 18 years, you've woke up and you had a cigarette, then why not do something different? Especially if you're now concerned that your kid is playing with fire and you leave your lighter in the same space.
Feels like that discipline.
You see, changing it up. And let's be clear, I didn't say stop smoking.
Right.
I said move the lighter.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's the small things that you do that make the greatest changes. Move the lighter. I can't control you wanting to smoke no more than I can control what intimate partner you want to be with.
Right.
But if you know that this person is a danger to you, do not assume they're not a danger to your child. Put a plan in place.
Yes.
Be honest with. If you know you can't walk away today, and you're not sure you're going to be able to walk away tomorrow, then you better dang sure have a plan for if they come for my kids, who can I call to pick them up? If this man kills me today, who's going to have my child? Because do I want my child left with him?
Right.
If he's able to convince the world that my murder was an accident.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is my person?
Yes.
Who's on my front row? You make your choices, you make your decisions, and you live by them. As a social worker, I don't ever want to be in a situation where I want to put a plan or a rule over someone and I know they can't live up to it. That's setting that child up for egregious harm.
Yes.
So what I believe in is, okay, if you're going to stay with him, what's our plan? What's our backup plan? Oh, you hate your mama? Your mama hurt you? Your daddy hurt you? Who your neighbor? Who your cousin? Who your brother? Who do you call when your trash? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's bigger than if he hurt you. Let's not go so deep. Let's say you get in a car accident. Who's on your kid's paperwork?
Yes.
You mad at the daddy, but is he on the kid's paper? Is he on your child paperwork at school for if something ever happens to you? On your way to pick him up, you get hit by a bus and you end up in the hospital and you are in a coma and nobody can talk to you. Did you put a real emergency contact down?
Right.
Yes.
Regardless of how you feel about them, will they show up
That part.
when you cannot?
That part.
Yes.
So,
You can go to a place like Safe Haven and have them happy with a safety plan.
Exactly.
I'm going to change this question up a little bit. And it is the question was, what advice do you give a parent who's reunifying with their kids? But my question is this. We know for a fact how hard it is for Black families to get their kids back once they get the case. Black families are the most families that are having their children terminated, having their rights terminated. They're losing their children, which is why we both do this work around prevention. And so the question is, when it comes to what can families do to prevent from being in the situation in the first place? And we've all gave samples. We've been talking about that. But if you had to just think of a couple things, right, that a family can do, like The odds are already stacked against us. We know that.
Mhm.
So this is a hard question. I acknowledge that. But what can you do?
Number one, I would say get out your way and go to therapy. Here's why. The system pays for foster parents to create a cushion life for that child. It is not supposed to be cushion. And in reality, it may not always be enough. But they have a system within their home where they were able to integrate your child in and therefore created a space where they felt loved, welcome, and wanted. And now we are going to take that same child out of a comforting nest, and put them back into the home for which they were removed. And most things have not changed. Their bed did not change. They didn't get a new bed. They didn't get a new pillow. They didn't get a new blanket.
Yep.
And the money didn't change. They still going right back into poverty 9 times out of 10. Now, God forbid, right? This is scenario. God forbid this child actually went to school and told the teacher that the parent did something and it's this child's fault while the child was removed. Now we're dealing with a parent who's dealing with resentment. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Therapy is number one.
Okay.
Therapy is you have to go and deal with the issues of removal and coming back together. Just like a husband and wife break up, but you gotta have the conversations individually and collectively as a family.
Like that intentional reunification.
There has to be intentional reunification, and you want to do it without somebody putting their thumb on your neck to get it done. You want to do it because I love my child enough to change.
Heal. We gotta heal.
You know what I mean? I love my child enough to say that didn't work for us. Right? I was sitting here and I was thinking, so my youngest, Willa, I call her mandate reporter. Because Willa gonna tell everything. Baby, she gonna tell it. She gonna tell everything. And the reason why I taught her to be a mandate reporter, because for the first time in my life, I had a new intimate partner. And my older 3, it was same dad. So it was like, he's there, whatever. But when she came around and I was in a new relationship and I put her in a situation where we had a new partner, there was no space for what happens here stays here. Because mama might be working. Mama might be busy. Mama might not be catching. So tell it all.
Period.
Yeah.
Go tell her. And I'll teach you what you ain't supposed to tell.
Yep.
Exactly. You ain't supposed to tell that your sister's smoking weed. That ain't nobody business. Mind your business. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, totally.
But when you, as a woman, be honest with yourself. If you're going to get into a new relationship, do not teach your child what happens here stays here. Because what if your intimate partner is the problem?
Yes.
And you are blind because of busyness.
I love what you said. You said we have a new partner.
Yes.
Because this is in the
It's a
family
whole-
system.
Family system.
So that you want to talk about it. You want to leave space for children to feel safe to talk about it. And who are they safe people?
Yes.
And then you correct them when they're wrong in it.
Yeah.
But that would be the first thing I would say is stop hushing our children and start listening to them because they're not as dumb and naive as our parents like to have taught us. That whole mentality of you are to be seen, not heard. That is the most dangerous thing we could ever do to a child. Because what happens when a child is quiet? They're observing.
Observing.
They are sucking it all in. So they know what you doing, what they doing, what he doing, what she doing. They see everything. And so this is why when a social worker asks them, they start talking.
Yes.
And now they know, the social worker knows some stuff you don't even know because you ain't even sitting down listening to your child.
You
So
didn't ask the question.
you didn't ask the question, and now your kid have a better relationship. It appears they have a better relationship with a stranger because they felt heard.
Yes.
So many kids, if you ask them, why didn't you tell me that? They say, because you didn't ask me.
You didn't
Why did you
listen.
tell them? Because they asked me.
Yes. Yes.
That's
You
what's so
always tell
important
me to
about
shut
those
up.
check-ins and stuff that y'all talk about after
Yes.
school.
Yeah.
You gotta ask.
You gotta
Kids can
ask.
be really simple that way.
Mhm.
Just black and white.
Yeah, it's like you didn't tell, you didn't ask me. You
They
didn't tell
asked
me.
me, so I told them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So our final question that we have for everyone, what final words of encouragement do you want families listening today to carry with them?
Your voice matters.
Yeah. I would say do it even when it's hard. Do it. Unlearn it. Forgive yourself. Check yourself. Kind of like when you're young, as girls we were taught, you smell yourself first.
Yeah.
Ain't no way somebody should be able to come around and tell you funky.
Yeah.
That
Right.
means that you should know when your behavior is out of pocket and
Yeah.
you putting your kid's life at risk.
Yeah.
Check yourself before somebody else have to check you, because the system don't raise kids. The system raise prisoners.
Yes.
Mhm.
The lucky ones that actually go through the system and become and do, that is their resiliency. But stop relying on Black resiliency for your children to be
Yeah.
okay, because that is not what it used to be.
Amen.
Our kids are not as resilient as we were.
No.
Yeah.
They're not. Our children are committing suicide. And stop lying to yourself that your child is not at risk of suicide.
Yes.
Stop being so blind and numb because you're tired. Get untired.
Get under.
Be okay with struggling so you can be present. Be okay with not being able to buy McDonald's. Figure out how to make it at home so you can be present. Because I can tell you, as a mother who worked 15 to 20 hours a day to get where I'm at today, my oldest children have made it very clear consistently. We love that you are here for her, but whoa, would it have been nice to have seen you more?
Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
I can take that feedback. My kids, we have those family meetings. We have the ugly conversations and the jokes that hurt me,
Yeah.
right? But it's their life.
It's their truth.
It's
That's
their truth
true.
and there's their life. So I have to swallow those nails. So that's what I would say.
I would. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say what I stated previously. Your voice matters, and your questions. No question is a stupid question. Ask all the questions. It's okay, because what you don't know what you don't know. So ask. It's okay to ask.
Yeah.
And then when you think of something else again, ask again. It's okay.
Yeah. I would say you are the expert of your child. From a teacher perspective, we are learning from you, the parent, how to best suit your child. So don't come in intimidated. We are learning from you. Yeah. Yeah.
I think what I would add, words of encouragement for families, I think, is to not let shame lead you, not let shame guide you. You've made mistakes in the past, and they're still showing up potentially, and they're still impacting the relationships that you have with your children today. It doesn't mean that that's how it's going to remain.
Yeah.
I will say that I believe that the adult, the parent, is the primary person who's responsible for sustaining relationships with children.
Yes.
It's your first, second, and third responsibility to make amends and to show forgiveness and to model it and to accept your children. You can have boundaries. Boundaries can still exist, and don't let things that you've done in the past continue to be a wedge in your relationship. It's okay to just throw yourself in and say, you know what? I haven't been perfect. And part of that too is like recognizing that you deserve that from your parents
Yes.
when you were young.
Yes.
And just because you didn't get it doesn't mean that you should continue that cycle.
Yes.
It's sort of that subconscious like jealousy or envy that you had this thing, this parent that I didn't have. So I'm going to be that parent to you that I had, which wasn't accountable, who didn't take responsibility, who didn't acknowledge my feelings, who didn't hear me, who wasn't available, all the things. So it's okay to say, I deserve this as a young person. I didn't get these things, and I deserve them, and you deserve them too.
Yes.
And then start breaking those cycles. And also just know that it's not going to happen overnight. Have realistic expectations. It's not going to happen overnight. You are not going to be a different person overnight. And neither will your child or children.
Yes.
And my final, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I would like to add that for your question about reaching out for help, voluntary services is not voluntary. And I think that people need to get an understanding of that. It's an offer, but it's a temporary solution that will often end up in chips, because what you need support and help with cannot be figured out in 45 days. and you only get 45 days. They say 60, but at 45 days, they talking to their county attorneys.
I think that's so critical for people to know. I'm glad you remembered to share that.
Mm-hmm.
It is. You know what my final words would be is to just as parents, I think that we have to humble ourselves and ask for help.
Yes.
And I think that it's okay to just to remember that we all need help.
Mhm.
And so to just ask for it, bring somebody with you, ask for help, and ask the person. Don't think somebody's so busy. Give them the opportunity to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Find yourself a mentor. Someone's doing what you want to be as a parent or overcoming something you want to overcome. Go ask them. But for the other people that are listening who are overcomers, it's also our responsibility to go back and help somebody else.
Yes.
So I think it's important to remember that.
Mhm.
And I'll just say this too. I think it's important that we pray for our children.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
You know, I think that if you are a believer, I think it's important to pray for your children and watch. You know, I look at my kids now, and it's stuff that I'm seeing that I was praying for 10 years ago, but don't stop praying.
Yes.
You know me, and my mama prayed for me, my grandmother prayed for me, and I think as a culture we're losing some of that of the old praying grandmamas. You know, and so I think that it's important for us to cover our children and pray for our kids, and for the grandmothers listening, to pray for your grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And because we have to keep them covered now
Yes.
more than ever.
Now more than ever.
And so that would be
Yes.
my final words. We can't give up, and we gotta pray, and we gotta pray, but we also gotta go to therapy.
Yes.
We also gotta go talk to the
Yes.
teacher.
And
Yes.
take that
We also gotta
medication.
go to school. We gotta take our
Yes.
meds. You know what I mean? We have to ask for help.
Mhm.
But we're saying all that, but we want to be clear that we're not saying now. We still got to pray because some of that old school stuff did work, and prayer is one of them.
Yes.
Right? So we'll end on that note. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us today. If something spoke to you, please share this with a friend who you think could really benefit from this episode. And remember, to help our show grow and reach more people just like you, make sure to follow the show and leave a 5-star review. And if you want to continue to have critical and courageous conversations, well, then we'll see you in the next episode.